It is a scenario that plays out in bedrooms everywhere, usually between the hours of 2 AS and 4 a.m. The house is perfectly quiet. There is no crisis, no emergency, and perhaps not even any specific worry on your mind. Yet, your eyes open. One moment you are deeply asleep, and the next, you are fully alert. You might feel a sudden need to kick off the blankets, feeling uncomfortably warm, only to pull them back up 5 minutes later. You check the clock, calculate how many hours you have left before the alarm rings, and try to force yourself back into the darkness. But the harder you try, the more elusive sleep becomes. For many people over the age of 50, this midnight wakefulness is the most frustrating aspect of aging. It feels like a betrayal. You remember a time when you could put your head on the pillow and not surface until morning. Now, sleep feels fragile, like a thin layer of ice that cracks with the slightest movement. When this happens night after night, it is natural to search for complex reasons. We blame stress, we blame our diet, or we worry that our health is quietly declining. We assume that because we are awake, something must be wrong. However, the reason for these 3 a.m. awakenings is often much simpler and surprisingly physical. It is not necessarily about what you are thinking, but rather about how your body handles heat. There is a hidden thermal rhythm that governs your ability to stay asleep, and as we mature, this rhythm undergoes a profound shift. Understanding this temperature cycle can stop the frustration in its tracks and offer a new way to approach the night. To understand why you are waking up, we must look at the relationship between body temperature and consciousness. We often assume that our body temperature stays at a steady 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 37 degrees Celsius, all the time. In reality, your temperature is constantly fluctuating in a rhythmic wave. This wave is one of the primary signals the brain uses to determine when to be awake and when to be asleep. In the evening, roughly 2 hours before you feel tired, your core body temperature begins to drop. It is a subtle decline, but it is the biological green light for sleep. To facilitate this, your body sends blood away from the core and out toward your hands and feet. This is why warm hands and feet are often a sign that sleep is coming. Your body is venting heat to cool down the engine. For deep, continuous sleep to occur, your core temperature must stay low. It reaches its absolute lowest point, what scientists call the Circadian Nader, usually around 3 or 4 a.m. However, after the age of 50, the mechanics of this cooling system begin to change. The layer of fat just beneath the skin, which acts as insulation, thins over time. Additionally, the blood vessels that expand to release heat become slightly less responsive. This means the body struggles to regulate that core temperature as efficiently as it once did. In your 30s, your body could aggressively dump heat, keeping you in a deep, cool state of hibernation all night. Now, that cooling curve is shallower. You might not get quite as cool, or you might warm up too quickly. This brings us to the 3 a.m. wake-up call. Around this time, your body naturally begins to warm up to prepare for the morning. In a younger body, this warming process is slow and gradual, synchronizing perfectly with the sunrise. But in a mature body, because the temperature regulation is more sensitive, this warming signal can happen too abruptly or too early. When your core temperature rises, your brain interprets this as a wake-up signal. It triggers a release of cortisol and alertness. You wake up feeling hot, or perhaps just widely awake because biologically, your body thinks the day has started. The engine has heated up, and it is very difficult to park a car that is revving its engine. This explains why you can feel so alert in the middle of the night. It is not anxiety. It is a thermal signal. Your internal thermostat has shifted to daytime mode, while it is still dark outside. Furthermore, this temperature sensitivity makes you more reactive to the environment. If the room is slightly too warm or the bedding traps too much heat, it prevents your body from reaching that deep, cool circadian nadir. Without hitting that low temperature point, the body hovers in lighter stages of sleep, making it easy for a creaking floorboard or a shifting partner to wake you up entirely. This is not a failure of your willpower. It is a mechanical adjustment in how your body processes energy and heat. Once you view your sleep through this thermal lens, the solution changes. It becomes less about trying hard to sleep and more about managing your thermal environment. Since we know that a rise in temperature triggers wakefulness, our strategy must focus on helping the body stay cool and stable throughout the night. We want to mimic the deep thermal valley of our younger years. Here are 3 practical ways to support this thermal rhythm. 1. The paradox of the warm bath. It sounds contradictory. If the goal is to be cool, why would you apply heat? Taking a warm bath or shower about 90 minutes before bed is one of the most effective ways to manipulate your core temperature. When you are in the warm water, your blood vessels dilate, rushing blood to the surface of your skin. When you step out of the warm water into the cooler air of your bathroom, that heat rapidly escapes from your skin. This causes a steep, sudden drop in core body temperature. That steep drop is a powerful signal to the brain that says, "It is time to sleep." It essentially jump-starts the cooling process that might be sluggish due to aging. By timing this correctly, not immediately before bed, but about an hour or two before, you help the body reach that cool state faster and stay there longer. 2. Thermal zoning in the bedroom. Your bedroom environment matters more now than it did 20 years ago. Because your internal regulation is more sensitive, the external room temperature acts as a brace or a support. Most sleep specialists suggest a room temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. This might feel chilly when you are awake, but it is essential for sustaining sleep. Beyond just the thermostat, look at your bedding. Heavy synthetic foams or high thread count sheets can trap heat against the body, creating a microclimate under the covers that is much hotter than the room. This trapped heat can trigger that 3 a.m. wake-up. Switching to breathable, natural fibers like bamboo, linen, or crisp cotton allows the body to vent heat continuously, preventing the temperature spike that wakes you up. 3. Ventilation of the extremities. If you do wake up feeling warm or alert, try a simple technique. Uncover your hands and feet. The palms of your hands and the soles of your feet are the body's primary radiators. They contain specialized blood vessel structures designed to release heat. By sticking a foot out from under the duvet, you allow the body to dump excess heat rapidly without freezing the rest of your body. This can often lower your core temperature just enough to help you drift back into a light slumber. Natural support for a calmer system. Sometimes, even with perfect temperature control, the nervous system itself remains too active to allow for that deep cool down. The internal thermostat is jittery. In these instances, providing the body with specific nutritional support can help lower the noise of the nervous system. There are compounds found in nature, specific minerals and botanical elements, that support the body's natural relaxation pathways. Think of these not as sedatives that force you unconscious, but as stabilizers. They provide the raw materials the body needs to maintain a steady, calm state, which in turn supports the natural drop in body temperature. When the nervous system is calm, the body regulates its rhythms more effectively. For those interested in adding a layer of nutritional support to their evening routine, there is a link in the description below. It details a specific option designed to work in harmony with these natural biological rhythms, offering a gentle way to support your nightly rest. The transition of sleep after 50 is a reality that requires adaptation, not resistance. It is easy to lie in the dark and feel frustration rising, but that frustration only generates more heat and more alertness. By understanding that your wakefulness is likely a simple shift in your body's thermal regulation, you can take the emotion out of the experience. You are not broken because you woke up. You simply got a little too warm, or your body started its morning cycle a little early. By adjusting your environment, using the timing of a warm shower, and perhaps supporting your system with the right nutrients, you can encourage that temperature to stay lower for longer. You can widen the window of rest. Sleep may look different now than it did decades ago, but it can still be restorative. It can still be the foundation of a healthy, energetic life. It just requires a little more attention to the details of the environment we create. And as you begin to stabilize your sleep, you may notice that how you feel in the morning changes too. However, getting out of bed brings its own set of challenges. Many people find that even after a good night's sleep, the first few steps of the day are greeted by stiffness and resistance in the joints.